Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is of course Ian, and this is the channel Ian the Reader. I hope you're doing well today. This video is all about my January TBR, which is kind of overwhelming. I did not set myself up for success in this first month of 2025, but I'm excited about everything I'm reading, so that's good. It's just a lot of stuff. I've made a lot of commitments, and the mood reader in me is revolting, but I'm going to just fight it. Oh well. We're not going to spend too much time preluding this video. Did just want to say a couple things. First, would love it if you would let me know what you're most looking forward to reading in January. Second, there are a lot of book clubs that I'm a part of that are taking place in 2025, two of which are taking place on the Bookish Drummer Discord, those being the Stephen King Book Club and the John Marrs Book Club, both of which are kicking off the year with a bang in January. So here are the schedules for both of those read-alongs. You can go ahead and join us on the Bookish Drummer Discord, which I'll leave linked down below. This is the schedule. You don't have to read all of these or any of these. I mean, you don't have to, but you should. But you can read whichever ones interest you. But this is the schedule for the year. I'm excited to dive deeper into both of these authors' works. It's gonna be great. And thirdly, if you want to like and subscribe, that would be super cool. Would appreciate it. But anyway, we're gonna jump in. I have my handy dandy reading journal, which I'm very excited about keeping this year. I have been working hard on it and having so much fun being creative in a different way. And I've got my TBR written down in here, so I shouldn't miss anything. Also, I love these super cool stickers that I got. These are from brunky.com. They're called, I think it's called Brunky Art. And I follow them on Instagram, but I actually saw they had a booth at an art festival in my city recently, and I just had to pick up these stickers, and I've been saving them for months because I didn't know what to do with them. And then when I made my reading journal, I was like, it's perfect. So love these stickers. Definitely check them out online. They have all of their handles here. Brunky Art is it. But yeah, I'll leave them linked down below. But love these stickers, love their art. You should totally check it out. Okay, all that aside, let's jump into the January TBR. Like I said, with those two book clubs that I'm a part of on the Bookish Drummer Discord, we are going to be reading a book by John Marrs this month and a book by Stephen King. The John Marrs book is When You Disappeared. Let me open up my handy dandy reading journal to make sure that's what it's called. It is When You Disappeared. Spoiler alert, I already read this. This was my first book of January, and so it's done. I'll save all my thoughts for that later in my January wrap up. But yes, this is the book we're reading for the John Marrs Book Club. Basically, we have a husband and wife and their family, and one day the wife wakes up and the husband is just gone, left without a trace, doesn't know if he's been murdered, if he's been kidnapped, if he ran away, whatever. And then 25 years later, we start to find out what exactly happened. So this isn't exactly like a thriller, although it's described as one. I think it's more of a suspense-ish, but like family drama primarily. There are definitely some twists, but it's not like an impending danger type of book. There are some gut-wrenching moments in this for sure, so if you need to know the trigger warnings, just ask in the comments and I will let you know. But yeah, this is our first John Marrs book. Very, very exciting. Very excited about this book club. John Marrs writes both exciting thrillers and really engaging and approachable sci-fi books. Very excited about this book club. Very excited. And for the Stephen King book club, we're reading possibly my most anticipated of the year for this book club, and that is Different Seasons. So super excited about this. If you don't know, this is a collection of 4 novellas, all of which are quite famous. So you've got Rita Hayworth in The Shawshank Redemption. Obviously, the Shawshank Redemption movie was based off of that. You have The Body, which the movie Stand By Me was based off of. I haven't seen that movie, but I really want to, and I probably will after reading the story in this book. And then you've also got Apt Pupil, and another one that I can't remember. The Breathing Method, that's what it's called. I remembered it finally. But yeah, this is a collection of 4 novellas, all of which are quite acclaimed. And this is a Stephen King release that I've been meaning to get to for like a decade. So very excited about this. I don't have a physical copy of it because every time I find a copy, it is either like beaten up so badly or it has the most atrocious cover. These are some of the covers I'm talking about. I have one on my Amazon wish list that I was thinking about getting. If I got an Amazon gift card, I didn't get one, and I'm trying not to buy books, so that's fine. I'll check it out from the library, but one day I will have a beautiful copy of this book. One day. But yeah, very excited about this. Join us in the Discord if you're interested. The rest of the books we're going to kind of break up into different categories, those being subscriber recommendations, carryover books from 2024, nonfiction, and buddy reads, and mood reads. So yeah, that's where we're at with all of that. So let's go ahead and start off with the most exciting portion, that being the subscriber recommendations. If you recall, in my 2,000 subscriber celebration video announcement, I asked you guys to recommend your favorite books to me, and I've gotten so many recommendations. I'll go ahead and put a screenshot of all the ones that I've gotten here, but very, very excited about this. Here's the jar, though, just so you can see like how many different recommendations I've gotten. It's absolutely insane. So very exciting. Thank you all so much for recommending your favorite books to me. I cannot wait to read as many of them as possible, but I did go ahead and draw the books that I'll be reading in January a couple weeks ago, just so I could start acquiring them if I wanted to buy any of them before my book buying ban started in January. Unfortunately, I deleted that footage, though. I had a lot of stuff on my phone that I was filming and things like that, and I was trying to clear up space, and I guess I deleted it at some point, so that's gone. But I do have the slips of paper still, so let's go ahead and talk about what I'll be reading that you recommended. First up, the only book that I don't have a physical copy of, I swear I do, I just can't find it, is Cannery Row by John Steinbeck. So super excited about this because John Steinbeck wrote my favorite book of all time, East of Eden. And a few people recommended Cannery Row. I wrote down at Mazeman01. So thank you so much for your recommendation. Very excited about it, but I've been recommended this book numerous times. It is a short novella, which thank God, because you'll see shortly some of the books I'll be reading this month are very long. But yeah, it's a short novella set in Cannery Row, which is an actual place in California, which I got to visit a while back, and I meant to read that book there then, but I did not. And it's fiction only in character, because I think the setting and all of the stories of it are very, very much based in fact, which is often the case with Steinbeck, but this one in particular, because it's so central to a specific location, very, very heavily inspired by real stories and real events and real places. So very excited about this one, and again, so glad that it's short. Thank you so much for the recommendation of that one, though. Very excited about it. The next one that I got pulled from the jar is Peace Like a River by Leif Enger, and this was recommended to me by Daryl Friesen. I didn't say that right, but yes, thank you so much for your recommendation. I've been wanting to read this author, Leif Enger, for quite some time. The one that I was most interested in is called Virgil Wanderer. I think that's what it's called. But this is this author's most popular work, Peace Like a River. So I did check this out from the library. Go me for not buying another book. But very excited about this one. It is magical realism, but a very gritty, like kind of Western-ish, not really historical fiction. I've heard that it's inspired by a lot of different things, though. And it's a coming-of-age story, a family story, a drama / kind of mystery. And it's set in the 1960s in Minnesota. So very, very much looking forward to reading this. And again, it's not too long, which very excited about that. So the next one that I drew is, again, thankfully short, and you'll understand why I'm so excited about the short ones when you see my fourth one. But the book is Sleeping Giants by Renee Denfield, and this was recommended by @On Our Path, whose taste I trust, because she recommended The Devil All the Time to me, and that was my favorite book of 2024. So I have high hopes for this, Sleeping Giants by Renee Denfield, and I actually did pick this up in a book outlet haul recently, so it was meant to be. It was meant to be. So very excited about this. I know very little about it other than that it's kind of eerie and mysterious and super compelling and has beautiful writing. It was really a cover buy, if I'm being honest. Look at that cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't say that it's like winter vibes as much as it is like summer, but who cares? I'm just excited about it. So thank you so much for the recommendation. I hope that I love this book. I have a good feeling about it. And the last book that I drew is so long. It's Shogun by James Clavell, recommended to me by @DeviHeim. So thank you so much for the recommendation. I know I'm gonna like this book, but it's chunky, you guys. This copy is over 1,000 pages, so very, very glad that my other recommendations that I drew were short. I was gonna possibly draw 5, but when I drew this one, I was like, it's gonna be 4, because this might take me a few months. I'm very excited about this, particularly given the fact that the show, or the miniseries Shogun, came out last year to much acclaim. It is the most awarded movie at the Emmys ever, I believe. So that's absolutely crazy. Very excited to read this and then watch the show. I've heard so many good things about this. Not everybody gives this 5 stars, but a lot of people do, and I'm hopeful that I will really enjoy this. Of the 4, I think this one has the greatest chance of being like a new all-time favorite, although I have very strong hopes for all 4 of them. So it's going to be a killer January. Very exciting. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and just knock out the rest of the buddy reads since I already covered the Stephen King book club and the John Mars book club. We're going to talk about the rest. So I have joined a read-along for the Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn series, book 1 being The Dragonbone Chair by Tad Williams. Very excited about this. My friend Josh over at Red Fury Books is hosting a read-along for this over on the Fireside Discord, and I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I'm intimidated a little bit, but at the same time, I love having a group of people to read fantasy with in particular. It's just nice to have people to discuss with. So I'll be jumping into this pretty soon. It is quite long as well. It's like alarmingly long considering like the physical book is only like 600 something pages, but the audio is over 30 hours long. So it's a chunky one. And it only gets longer from here. I don't think you can see book 2 and 3 up there, but they're there and they're very long. Yeah, so very excited about this. I know that it has like a very classic feel to it, but at the same time, it is a book and series that kind of bridged the gap between classic and modern fantasy. And I know that it was very inspirational to George R.R. Martin when he was writing his A Song of Ice and Fire series. So I'm very, very excited for this. I don't know what to expect as far as like my own personal enjoyment. I hope at the very least I can recognize the qualities of the book. Whether or not I'll love it, we'll see. But I'm going to commit to this first book and hopefully adore it. I have the whole trilogy, so fingers crossed. So I was planning on doing some other buddy reads, but I recognized that my TBR was out of control. So before this video, I did cut my TBR down a little bit. So the only other buddy read I am doing is a buddy read with my brothers. We are buddy reading book 6 of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which we buddy read last year, but I'm going to be rereading this, and I think they are as well. This book is The Eyes of the Bedlam Bride, and the reason we're doing this is because book 7 comes out on audiobook next month in February, and we just want to be fully prepared for that and remember kind of where the characters are left off and all that jazz. So I love Dungeon Crawler Carl, made my year-end list, made my top 5, and book 6 is possibly the best of the bunch. Hopefully book 7 is the best. Hopefully I can put Dungeon Crawler Carl on my year-end list again. We'll see. We'll see, but I'm very excited to get back into this world and get ready for book 7, so very pumped about that. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and talk about some carryover books from 2024. So I have 2. First up is Where I'm Calling From by Raymond Carver. So this is a collection of short stories that I've been slowly reading over the past month. I am like 15 stories in, aka like 170 pages, and I really am just taking my time with this. What I love about short story collections is there's no risk of losing your immersion, because you can just pick it up whenever you want and read another story. And the longest one of these is maybe 20 pages. So I can really read any of them for the most part in like one sitting, and just get so much out of it and then put it down as long as I need to and come back and have no problem getting back into it. So it has been a couple weeks since I've read any stories in this, just because the holiday season, trying to hit my goal of 200 books that I randomly decided to commit to at the last minute. And all that jazz. So I will be continuing this, most likely finishing in January, but I'm not stressed about it. If this takes until February too, then that's fine. I'm just going to read this and have a really nice and relaxing time with it. Raymond Carver is amazing. This is my first exposure to his writing, and he's brilliant. He communicates so much with so little, and he's so direct. And I just love it. And a lot of his characters are just unlikable or just very messy and real and raw, and I love that kind of writing that doesn't glamorize the human experience but just really shows it to be as ugly as it can be sometimes, and you have to really search for the beauty in it, but it's revealed if you look close enough. So love Raymond Carver, really enjoying my time with Where I'm Calling From. The other carryover is a book that I randomly took with me when I was doing laundry one day, and I burned through like 25% of it, and that is Poor Dear by Claire Oshetsky. This book was definitely somewhat a cover buy, in that the cover is what first grabbed my attention. I was just looking on Book Outlet, seeing what was available because there was a huge sale going on, and I saw the cover. I was like, I kind of like the vibe of that, and then I checked it out on Goodreads, and I was like, this sounds like my kind of thing, and so I picked it up. So what we have here is the story of a girl who, when she was very young, she had a best friend who was young as well, and she was involved in something that caused the death of her friend. And now it's her as an older, maybe like a young adult, reflecting back on that time and trying to grapple with the role she played in this tragedy. And she is being haunted by this creature called Poor Dear, that just sits in the corner of the room. She's the only one who can see it, and just prods at her to tell the truth. It's very haunting, very traumatic. And it's a book that I have really enjoyed this far. I'm very excited to get back into this book and finish it. I have a really high hope for it. We'll see what happens. It's not very long too, so I wanted to go ahead and throw some shorter reads on there at the end of the year, and I just didn't happen to finish this one, but I will be finishing it this month. Okay, now let's go ahead and talk about mood reads. First up is This Is How You Lose the Time War. This is by Amal El-Motar and Max Gladstone. I got sent this book by Saga Press for reading and reviewing purposes, and I was very grateful to because I've heard so many good things about this. It's very short as well, so again, I just wanted to kind of pad my TBR with some shorter books to throw in there while I'm reading like The Dragonbone Chair and Different Seasons and Shogun in particular. So very excited about this. I've heard it's a little bit confusing, but also really beautiful. It's about two secret agents writing letters to each other across time and space. I'm in. Sounds so rad. So yeah, that's one mood read. Secondly, I did start a manga series called Delicious in Dungeon last month upon recommendation from someone in my book club, and I had a good time with this. It's really wacky. So it's basically about some dungeon explorers who are on this quest to receive this grand prize or what have you. But as they're going through this dungeon, they realize that they just don't have time to get the supplies they need in order to save somebody who got left in the dungeon. And so they just start hunting and trying to cook the monsters that are in the dungeon. And so it's like one part adventure story, one part like cookbook in the most obscure way. And I think it's really fun. And so very excited about continuing this. That's volume 2. I read volume 1 last month, and I'll probably continue with it throughout the next few months until I'm caught up in that. So loving that so far. Additional mood reads, I've got She's Come Undone by Wally Lamb that I'll be reading. This was recommended to me by a handful of people, but the reason that I am reading it is because I am reading one Wally Lamb book a month in anticipation of his newest release, The River is Waiting, which comes out in May, and I'll be doing a video about all of his books at some point once I have finished all of them. But yes, She's Come Undone is the next one on this. I've read I Know This Much Is True, The Hour I First Believed, and Wishin' and Hopin', his Christmas novel so far. So I've got She's Come Undone this month. I'm very excited about it. I don't know too much about it, but I do know it is his debut novel and his most popular book. So hopefully I love it. We will see. Those are all the mood reads that I currently have on the docket. We'll see if I end up throwing anything else in there, but that's the plan. They're mood reads, so I may end up not reading them now and reading other books instead, but we'll see. And the two final books that I'll be reading in January, hopefully, are both nonfiction. The first of those is The Anxious Generation. I don't know the author of this, but I was recommended it multiple times on Instagram when I asked for nonfiction recommendations, so really excited about it. It basically is a book talking about the generation that grew up with the internet just being around all the time, mainly due to smartphones and the rise in technology, and then how that consequentially caused a rise in anxiety and mental health issues in that generation. So I have already started this. I'm enjoying it so far. It's terrifying, especially as a parent, but it's very informative, so I'm enjoying that. And the other nonfiction book I'm planning on picking up is Hearing God by Dallas Willard. I've heard really good things about Dallas Willard, that he's very insightful and wise and just has a lot of good things to say, so very excited about reading this and reading more of his works in 2025. The plan is to start here and go forward from there, but very excited about it. Okay guys, those are all the books I'm planning on reading in January. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading. I have so many good books on the docket. It's going to be a stacked month if I don't lose my mind from the sheer number of pages I'm trying to get through. So we'll see what happens, but thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye.